First, England just needing a draw to win the Rouse Cup. They're heading the competition after this goal by Peter Beardsley gave them victory over Scotland on Saturday. Well, the Rouse Cup, a three-cornered competition between England, Scotland and this year Colombia. Scotland and Colombia drew 0-0 at Hampden last week, but this evening England will be looking for a lot more than just the draw they need to win the competition for the second time. The two sides have met once before, England winning 4-0 in Bogota in the build-up to the 1970 World Cup. 2 goals from Martin Peters, 1 from Alan Ball, and the last goal in international competition for Bobby Charlton.
Peters, Charlton, 2, yes! A Charlton special, and the applause rung out of this Colombian crowd.
Well, 18 years on, this is Colombia's answer to Bobby Charlton, or looking at the hairstyle, maybe more to Ruud Gullit. 26-year-old Carlos Valderrama, their captain, is the South American Footballer of the Year and is about to join the procession of top players to Europe. He's signed for Montpellier in the French First Division in a deal said to be worth around $4 million. Now, there are 1 or 2 continental clubs who would like to talk about the market value of Chris Waddle, but he's under contract to Tottenham and returns to the England starting lineup tonight as one of 4 changes from the side that beat Scotland. Viv Anderson, Mark Wright and Steve McMahon are all given a further chance to press European Championship claims. Glenn Hoddle and Mark Haitley, who've joined up with the squad after winning the French Championship with Monaco, are both among the substitutes, but negotiations regarding their release for the Switzerland trip are still going on. Well, Colombia are very excited about their first ever visit to Wembley, and they make one change from the side which drew in Scotland, because since then they've won 3-1 in Finland, and number 7 Arango, who came in and scored there, keeps his place. And also among the scorers in Finland, their eccentric goalkeeper Higuita. He often takes the penalties. The wide-open spaces of Wembley applying tonight to the stands as well as to the pitch with its excellent playing surface. Referee is from West Germany, Karl-Josef Assenmacher, and he has 1 linesman from France and 1 from Portugal. England wearing red shirts tonight and playing from the right. Here's John Barnes. Colombia normally play a 4-4-2 formation. Here's Kenny Sansom on the England left. Winning tonight, Kenny Sansom, his 82nd cap. And on the far side, that's Hoyos, the left back, into Escobar. And now Herrera, the right back. And if England attack down both flanks, Colombia will need those fullbacks. Here's number 8 Garcia, a midfield player. Now Valderrama. Given away by Herrera. Forward again by Sansom. Beardsley chasing, and look where Higuita is already. He's a bit of a Dave Besant, this boy. Number 11 is Redin. And again. It's well played by Chris Waddle, and Gary Lineker skipped his man beautifully. Beardsley's waiting in the centre here. Fast, open play by England. Gary Lineker at the heart of it. Well, there are the 2 captains, both from a very different school of football when you think about it. Valderrama, who's used to playing at his own speed and just stroking the ball about. Robson with the more dynamic approach. Tony Adams. It's Valderrama starting it off again. This is Redin, fouled by Wright. Radin certainly proving himself something of a handful here. Garcia just standing behind Radin. Pereira has also gone to join them. Pereira is the 15, and Radin with the little instant chip, if you like. Well, he was the man who was fouled, and he got up to take the free kick himself here. Just a little bit of backlift, not much, and curled away from Shilton's right-hand post. John Howe, second from the left there, sitting next to Mike Kelly. Coached Wimbledon to their FA Cup success here just a few days ago. Overruled his linesman there. It's going to be an England ball. Kenny Sansom to Robson. McMahon is square. Arango trying to close him down, bit of pulling perhaps there on both players' parts. Out to Waddle. Anderson. Right. McMahon. Now, can they beat the offside? Lineker. And a good challenge by Wright. On by Robson towards Barnes. Lineker closing from the far side now. It's going deeper towards Brian Robson. And here's McMahon. And a great save. McMahon holds his head. There may have been a slight deflection, but Higuita flew to his left there. And England have a corner. Now, Chris Waddle to take it. Adams is up and so is Anderson. Away by Alvarez. McMahon again. Sansom back out again to Waddle. Garcia. Alvarez. Oh, a bit elaborate there. This is Robson. Well played. Waddle. Lineker. Yes, it's there! Super goal by Gary Lineker. Chris Waddle, the provider. That's terrific stuff from England's attack. It happened so quickly, Colombia didn't know what had hit them. The ball swung in, and Lineker's flick header off the inside of the post, and England are in front after 23 minutes. So for Gary Lineker, his 25th international goal. But Colombia straight away on the counter. It's 25 goals in 27 starts for England from Lineker. Terrific record. It also edges him ahead of Geoff Hurst in the all-time England scorers list. On the night, it gives England the lead in a match which may well clinch the Rouse Cup for them. Well, there was a true cutting edge to England's finishing there. Now, here's Sansom. Beardsley. Now McMahon. Lineker again. We're in for a very good evening's football here. That was Valderrama. This is Iguaran. Now Radin. Well, there are some good touches coming from both teams. That was Garcia with a little flick for Colombia. Robson. McMahon. Valderrama. 16, Iguaran. Alvarez. Both teams showing quite an appetite for the contest here. This is Radin to Garcia. Pereira. Radin again. Arango. Garcia. Oh, and Arango goes through. Lovely tackle by Mark Wright. He'll be pleased with that interception. Stretched his leg out there to make a vital interception. There was some good stuff here too from the Colombians. They almost got Arango through. What a good challenge by Wright. Well brought down by Lineker. McMahon out to Waddle. 2 to beat there, and one of them leaving him on the ground, spotted by the referee. Hoyos, the left back, leaving Chris Waddle on the ground, and a sign that I think of just what a handful Waddle has proved to the Colombians in this opening period. Let's come back to McMahon. Here's Beardsley. Run at them, and a nice little ball too, but it just caught Lineker offside. But John Barnes, part of this two-pronged attack on the flanks tonight. Bobby Robson giving Waddle and Barnes a run in the same side. Here's Valderrama. Radin. Right again. Garcia. Hoyos. Valderrama, Radin, oh, little flick from Garcia again, and this is Radin again. Good save by Shilton. Both goalkeepers, as Radin struck that, have distinguished themselves in the first half here. Again, Valderrama started things off, another little back heel by Garcia, and then Radin with the shot, and Shilton saw it all the way. Valderrama. Escobar is still forward, following the corner. This is Wright. Oh. Valderrama. And England having to be very aware of these quick, short passes. Herrera, the right back, is in the penalty area there this time. This is Barnes. Pereira. Robson for England. It's Waddle. And Higuita decides to come out on an escapade. He used to be an outfield player, which may account for it. Arango. Well played, Anderson. And Robson it was that found Barnes. Sansom. Barnes again. England looking for the angle, but in the end Colombia kept their shape so well that Tony Adams could only play the ball out. Header was by Sansom. This is Beardsley, and now it's Lineker again. He doesn't need any time at all to get his shots in. Colombia were caught sleeping for just a moment, but Lineker was wide awake. Kenny Sansom with a header in the first place. Peter Beardsley aware as ever of what was on, and Lineker first time. Robson. Valderrama. They do like a back heel, these Colombians, and that's obstruction, surely. Garcia. Pereira coming out of the central defensive position to find Iguaran. Herrera. Radin. Alvarez. Garcia. Radin. Lineker left grounded by Pereira's challenge. And here's Anderson. Chris Waddle. Steve McMahon. Valderrama. Oh, space here. Iguaran. Garcia. Radin. Iguaran again. Valderrama again. Arango is clear here. Peter Shilton able to gather the ball. Arango's shot slightly deflected. Neat play again by Colombia. Swift into passing, always aware where each other were, and lots of space for the man on the left there, who was Arango, the number 7. Mark Wright closed him down. Actually, Shilton winning tonight his 97th cap. Pereira. Now here's Barnes. Sansom. Well done, McMahon. Out to Waddle. England with plenty of players forward here. Lineker's one of them. Took that beautifully on the chest. Just enough space tonight and time for a few of these highly talented players on both teams to exhibit their skills. It's made it very enjoyable in the first half. Alvarez. Radin. Garcia. Number 8. Valderrama. Radin. Oh, Arango again. And Shilton again. Well, Peter Shilton celebrated something of a landmark on Saturday. The match against Scotland was his 50th clean sheet for England in 96 appearances. And tonight, making his 97th, he saved well again there from Arango. Barnes. Beardsley. Waddle back to McMahon. This build-up has been pretty assured. Certainly found each other fairly comfortably. So half-time, and even though it's a small crowd, there was some entertaining football there. Gary Lineker extends still further his excellent England scoring record with a snap header. And Colombia, in reply, offered plenty of well-executed football, some nice touches, mostly from Valderrama. And I would imagine that at half-time, Bobby Robson will have seen that as a contrast in styles that will be pleased enough that England lead 1-0 at this stage. Colombia have had something of a checkered history in world football. It was a country back in 1950 where many players from overseas, including England, went looking for something of an El Dorado. There was the 1970 Bogota bracelet incident involving Bobby Moore. And, of course, they pulled out of the opportunity of staging the 1986 World Cup, which eventually went back to Mexico. But their football's on something of a high at the moment. The youth team have done very well in a recent competition over there. And here's Valderrama, the idol of their domestic football, certainly at the moment, until he goes to France. Alvarez. Redin, who may well take over Valderrama's mantle in Colombia. Hoyos. Garcia. And certainly Wright and Adams had a very good first half against some nippy attackers, and they'll be hoping to maintain that solidity. Lineker doing enough, and so too McMahon. Waddle to his right. Lineker through the centre. Here's Hoyos. Arango. Oh, here he is again. And Iguaran and Arango, and they're appealing, the Colombians. Referee checked with his linesman and said, play on. But they're so subtle and skillful in and around the area. Arango and Iguaran, the two strikers combining there. Just got a touch off Brian Robson, and it looked dangerous for a moment. Well, I think it was a case of the ball being played there. Sanson. Appeals for handball against Valderrama, and Colombia want to make a substitution. They'll have to wait for a moment. Here's Waddle for England. McMahon got a foot in. Forward by Valderrama. Arango. Redin. Alvarez to Valderrama. Short again to Iguaran. This is good, intricate stuff from the Colombians, but just one pass too many, giving Tony Adams the chance to sort it out for England. And Robson then to Waddle. Two very different football cultures out there tonight. The indulgent ball skills of the South Americans and the more swinging direct approach of England. Here's Sanson in just such an attack. Beardsley, Lineker, free kick. So an hour of the match gone. And now the referee is going to allow the substitution to be made. The man coming off is Arango, the number 7, and he'll be replaced by number 17, John Trelez, who's a fairly fast flank attacker, normally plays on the left. Now Robson is directing operations. I think just behind him on the other side is Beardsley, to Robson's left. Barnes is also close to the ball. And that was Barnes, and Higuita at full stretch. McMahon. Another good save there. John Barnes with one of his curlers, and Higuita made a lot of ground across his line there. Well, another sign that Higuita may be an eccentric goalkeeper. He also looks to be a very agile one. Chris Waddle. Well, he did well there, Waddle. Didn't look to be any space at all, but Beardsley now taking on the goalkeeper. Oh, I say, look at this. Oh. Well done, sir. Crowd enjoyed that. And one or two smiles on the bench. Seems to be a goalkeeper's year at Wembley up to now on the big occasion. That was Robson, out to Waddle. Here's McMahon, and now Sansom. And Barnes, and Sansom goes again. Lineker's waiting in the centre. Robson's there. That came off the defender. It's a corner to England. Good move, though. And England here needing to press home the advantage. It was Kenny Sansom who once again made the extra man. McMahon will take the corner. Adams is in there, Anderson's in there, here's Beardsley. McMahon, Anderson! Here's Valderrama. Oh, well played. Trelez. Iguaran just inside. And Sansom, as Redin tried to get in behind him. Good little spell for Kenny Sansom there. He was in the attack 1 minute and then very much needed in defence a moment later. But still Colombia press. Redin. England have got to have all their wits about them back there. This is Valderrama. And now it's Trelez. And he's round the back. And there's a chance here. Valderrama came in. Trelez again. And England stretched by the substitute. Now, I think this is going to be Colombia's first corner. And Escobar and Pereira, certainly only their second at the most. Escobar and Pereira are forward. And there's Escobar. Oh, against the bar and in. And Escobar equalises after 66 minutes for Colombia. Just look at their supporters. Well, that was a good header. It seemed to come backing off the underside of the bar beyond Shilton. But Colombia, on their first visit to Wembley, the scorer thrilled to bits, crossing himself there, the giant defender, Andres Escobar, just 21, and proud to score his country's first ever goal in this famous stadium. And I have to say that on the evidence of the previous 3 or 4 minutes, that goal was on the cards because Colombia were playing nearly all the football in that spell, and the England defence had already looked threatened. So, one each, and the South Americans very much back in it. Garcia. Well, Mr. Valderrama is calling the tune here for the moment. Redin looking dangerous. Play on. It was Tony Adams' tackle. Brian Robson's pass forward. Well, I rather think the substitution has made a difference here for Colombia. Lad who came on the left wing, John Trelez, has given the attack a fresh impetus. Redine, fouled by Robson. They're so skillful that sometimes a quite legitimate, or what starts out as a quite legitimate tackle, finishes up as a foul because the ball is just whipped away, as it was there by Redine. Anderson got a foot in. Here's Barnes. But Colombia now closing down England almost in English style, forcing them back. On by Waddle. Trelez. Barnes. Herrera. Garcia. Beardsley for England. Found it quite hard to get into the picture in the second half, Beardsley, and in fact, at that moment he's going to be taken off, as indeed is Chris Waddle. So we have the double substitution and the Monaco connection. Glenn Hoddle and Mark Hateley, fresh from winning the French Championship, both on the pitch now. Hoddle with stitches in his forehead following a nasty collision at the weekend. You'll just not quite get that, he's underneath his hair. And big Mark Hateley, who's been scoring freely in France, 13 league goals. So we'll see how that changes the game. Now, Viv Anderson forward. Well, if the score stays like this, England would win the Rouse Cup by virtue of 3 points. But they would like to get back on top, and maybe Lineker will help them to do just that here. That's his cross. Oh, and Robson! He got free as the defenders from Lineker's cross tended to follow Hateley, but Robson came in behind, didn't have the best of angles in the end. Gary Lineker picking it up from Kenny Sansom, and as Hateley brought the defenders across, Brian Robson at the far side. Now the second substitution by Colombia. Off goes Iguaran, number 16, their 31-year-old, and on comes a younger player, number 18, who they know as Didi. Funnily enough, his surname is also Valderrama, but to distinguish himself from the captain, he's known by one of his other names, which is Didi. No relation to the famous Brazilian of the past, I hasten to add, and no relation to Carlos Valderrama either. England biting into the tackle now, determined to impose or reimpose their authority on a match which has drifted away from them in this second half up to now. Here's Barnes, though. Mind you, it's a very good test for what's in store in the European Championships. It's a very different sort of game from the one they'll be playing in Stuttgart against the Republic of Ireland, it might be said, but strong opposition here tonight. Bobby Robson will be disappointed with the crowd, but it's a stern test for his team. Hoddle's cross, Hateley. Valderrama for Colombia. Oof. Good job that Wright got to that. Trelez was going to fasten onto it. Wright finding Lineker. Here's Trelez. Valderrama to Garcia. This is Redine, and Valderrama has come free on the left here. And Redine again, offside flag is up. That's the French linesman, Joe Quignou, top-class referee also. And Hoddle finds Hateley with 10 minutes to go. Hateley using his speed. A shot flying across the goal, but you can see those two have been playing together all season, can't you? Sort of football which has been pleasing people in the Principality of Monaco. Glenn Hoddle. 4 players forward for England. Kenny Sansom on the far side. Barnes. Barnes cross. Oh, and taken away from Lineker by Oyos, the number 5. That was a good England attack, and it was started by Kenny Sansom, who's had a pretty good second half. Get it! Didi. Redine to Valderrama. Redine. We're in stoppage time now. This is inevitably Valderrama again. Escobar. Garcia. And now the Colombians playing possession football at the end of what for them has been quite a good night. They hold England to a 1-1 draw to the delight of their supporters. England will take the Rouse Cup because they finish with 3 points from 2 games. Colombia with 2 draws. But certainly very much an educational process, that match, maybe for both teams. Colombia wanting to learn about the European style. Escobar earned them a draw with his header in the second half, with something of an English-style goal, I suppose, from a corner, an orthodox header. But much of their football of the South American variety. And true to keeping with what goes on in that continent, Valderrama gives his first interview to a radio reporter from presumably South America. Doesn't look like Radio 2 to me, anyway. As for England, well, all part of the European Championship build-up. They'll have plenty to think about. A match which seemed to go away from us in the second half after Lineker had given England a half-time lead. But it's England who win the Rouse Cup. The England manager looks a little bit aggrieved there that 1 or 2 players have exchanged shirts. He won't want to see them going up looking tatty. And he's none too pleased about that, Bobby Robson. And I have to say, as a traditionalist, I agree with him. So the final score here at Wembley, England 1, Colombia 1, means England, despite not winning the match, still win the Rouse Cup.
So Brian Robson lifting the Rouse Cup, England's second success in 4 years of the competition. Draw, though, bit of a disappointment. Tony Gubber talked to the England manager.
Bobby, at the end you got a little bit annoyed with some of the players swapping shirts before the presentation.
Yes. Oh, that's just one of those little things, you know. I mean, I don't like England players to swap England shirts on the pitch. And I don't like England players going up the rostrum to pick up a medal in a foreign shirt. That's as simple as that. So you keep your own shirt on and you exchange shirts in the dressing room. They know the procedure, they have to stick to it.
Just under 26,000 people turned up tonight, yes. And for those who took the trouble to come, it was a thoroughly entertaining match. But how did the England manager view it? Well,
it was a very good game because the football was excellent. I mean, obviously, our players have had a bit of an exercise tonight because we haven't got players who play that way in England, you know. Their football was different, short and compact, short passing skills in clusters of 3s and 4s, little 1-2s, nice triangle works. You don't see that in English football. So, I mean, it was a bit of a test for us, really, and good education. We've stuck at it. A lot of their play was in front of our defenders anyway, because if you look at the match from start to finish, we've got better chances and had more opportunities to score than they did. So it's a case of how do you like your football?
How keenly are you anticipating this European Championship now? It's getting ever closer. You've got one more game away in Switzerland.
Oh, well, you know, you know, you have to play a lot of football over 2 years, and we've qualified in style. So I'm looking forward to it immensely. It can't come quick enough now. I'm pleased that we haven't picked up any injuries tonight. That was a key factor. It was also the game, but I was worried about 1 or 2 key players getting injured. We've come out unscathed. We'll have another one on Saturday in Switzerland. If we can come through unscathed there, I'll be quite delighted. Because we lost Butcher, lost Pearce, we don't want to lose any more.
Sure.
So Lineker, Beardsley, Barnes, Robson, all the good, you know, all the nucleus have come through.
Jimmy Hill, Bobby Robson, pretty happy, pretty optimistic. What do you make of the state of the England squad there?
Well, I think his biggest problem is a mental one. I think some of those players are showing that they've had a hard season, more games than any other player in Europe. For instance, Beardsley, Barnes, they've had important matches. Robson battling on behind Liverpool with Manchester United. And I think will have lost some of their freshness. It's a pity that really Haitley and Hoddle are not available for Saturday, as they are not. We understand tonight that Monaco will not release them. There's goodwill between Bobby Robson and them, but they're not going to be released. So that means he's got to battle on with his tried and trusted warriors. And the real problem, I think, is to give them a little bit of a rest before they go into competition and get them needle sharp on the day. Doesn't matter what happened tonight, but looking at that game, which is a very good game of football, they were enjoying it the other side because they were playing a game of football. They'd come to Wembley, the grass was nice, beautiful game to play, whereas you felt that England's team was slogging, trying to do their duty, trying to get their disciplines, playing the European Championships in a funny kind of way before we've got to it. That's his problem.
Tremendous game to watch, as you say, but what are the good things to come out of the England performance, do you think?
Well, strangely, because of the way in which the game went, we've talked about testing our central defenders. You know, Wright came in tonight and did very well. Bobby Robson paid tribute to him. And I think that he and Adam got the sort of treatment we've been saying they're going to get in the European Championship. Players coming at them, close passing, bit of pace, clever dribblers. Are these big, tall defenders going to stand up against it? Tonight, they stood up against that very well indeed. They had fresh strikers. I mean, Valderrama was marvellous, but he does most of his damage in the middle of the field. And they had that Trellis came on, who was a super player, full of running and energy. And the guy who had on at the start, Raydane, who was, you know, for me, a player I'd like to see. But it was that freshness and vitality of the front players that made them dangerous and stretched our defence, particularly with Beardsley, who I don't think has a great lot of stamina. When he goes, he makes a chance. He's got tenacity, he's got strength for a little fellow, but he can't do it every minute for 90 minutes. And I think he wants a rest, he wants to come out fresh, and don't you know, kill the horse by working him too hard.
Well, we enjoyed a very attractive game.